So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the February meeting, the policy meeting of the Ulster County Transportation Council. I'll call the meeting to order. Brian, if you want to do roll call for me, please.
Certainly, I'm going to go through each municipality. If the voting member present could please state your name after I give your municipality. Ulster County.
Ed Pine.
City of Kingston.
John Schulteis.
Town of Saugerties.
Vernon Benjamin.
Town of Ulster. New York State Department of Transportation.
Sandra Jobson.
New York State Thruway Authority.
Lucy Phillip.
Village of Saugerties. Alex, I saw you on there, but you might be muted. Town of Rosendale. Town of Lloyd.
Fred Pizzuto. And Herb Litz.
Thank you, guys. Town of Plattekill. Village of Ellenville. Town of New Paltz.
Neil Betez.
Town of Woodstock.
Bill McKenna.
Town of Rochester. And I see Mike is trying to get admitted. He keeps coming in and out of the waiting room, so we'll check him as present. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 members present.
Okay, we have a quorum then. Thank you. Is there anybody else on the call that we haven't, that hasn't identified themselves? If they could identify themselves, we'd appreciate it.
Kristen Wilson with the City of Kingston.
Thanks, Kristen.
Anthony Mignone, RCal, Resource Center for Accessible Living.
Greg Krupp, City of Kingston.
Greg Jewell, City of Kingston.
Remember him, Dennis?
Mm-hmm.
Amy McKenzie, New York State DOT.
Anyone else?
We had a couple more just join. So if you could.
Jean Walsh here.
Hi, Supervisor.
Hi, Dennis. Mike Baden.
Thank you, Mike.
Herb Litz, but I think Fred already clocked me in.
Yeah, we got him. We got you, Herb.
Great.
Okay. Call for citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments? Hearing none. Approval of the September 22nd, 2020 Policy Committee meeting. We have a motion for discussion purposes. State your name, please.
Mike Baden.
Jean Walsh, I make a motion.
So I have Mike as a first. Jean, would you second?
Yes.
Okay, I have a first and a second on the minutes. Any discussion? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. Thank you. Communications and announcements, Brian?
I don't have any major communications or announcements at this time, but we can run through a few updates for business under project updates, and there's a few items there.
We did have one announcement come in, and that's the infrastructure grants.
Yes, the federal infra grants, which is a very, it's kind of a heavy lift federal aid transportation grant. I have not had the opportunity to look over the details, but we did get notice. It looks like it's one of the first major federal DOT grant initiatives by the Biden administration. And the focus appears to be economic development with specific emphasis on freight and ports. So that is an update that we will be happy to forward to members if interested.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, the applications are only due the 19th of March. So, I mean, you got a long time to think about this. It's a bear of an application. You also have to do the cost analysis, and they're expecting you to have all of your NEPA approvals in place at the time of the application, or a schedule to complete them and move to construction obligation within 18 months. So
Great.
it is an opportunity, as they say. Any other communications and announcements, Brian?
No, none at this time.
Okay. Moving to new business, item A, UCTC Resolution 2021-01, the adoption of the Ulster County Transportation Council's state fiscal year 2021 Unified Planning Work Program. Do I have a motion for discussion purposes?
So moved.
Please state your name. That was you, Vernon?
Yes, Vernon.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Neil Batez?
Thank you, Neil. I have a motion and second. Any discussion?
We did have a 15-day public comment period. There were no comments submitted to UCTC regarding the program. And there were no significant revisions affecting the draft budget figures within the program between the draft that was presented in January and this iteration. We did improve some of the language under one of the project descriptions for the trail wayfinding plan that is listed there. There's a updated project description there. And one final point of note, this Unified Planning Work Program will continue to be draft until state fiscal year Q4 is closed by UCTC at the end of March. We will then be able to have an accurate balance. In the past several years, though, we've gotten pretty good at projecting the Q3 expenditure or the Q4 expenditures to within just a few $1,000s, when our average reimbursement requests are somewhere in the vicinity of $100,000 total. So as soon as that Q4 is finalized, the UPWP will then be considered final.
Any other comments? Any other discussion? Hearing none. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Item B, UCTC Resolution 2021-02. It's the amendment of the UCTC Federal Fiscal Year 2020-2024 Transportation Improvement Program TIP to add new NISDOT project PIN number 846064 as shown in attachment 1. Do I have a motion for discussion purposes? Please state your name.
Vernon Benjamin.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Do I have a second?
Bill McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. McKenna. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Brian?
The purpose of this TIP amendment, it's a full TIP amendment because it's a new PIN to be added to our transportation improvement program. The addition or deletion of a PIN requires a full TIP amendment with 15-day public notice. There were no public comments submitted to us during the comment period, although we did have some discussion with the town of Saugerties to clarify the purpose of the project. In just a moment, I'm going to give the floor to Sandra Jobson at the New York State DOT to maybe provide just a little bit more insight to the project. But as the project description shows on the attachment in Resolution 2, this is for an intersection engineering study. That is the purpose of this project at this time. It was to analyze the intersection of Route 32 at the Interstate 87 exit in the town of Saugerties to see if there is any need for signal upgrades or changes to that intersection. Sandra, is there anything that you might want to add at this time?
No, just that we pretty much completed the review. I would say we finished that end of last year. And what we're looking to do this summer is upgrade the signal equipment that's there. And then the long-term finding, or even if you want to call it a recommendation that came out of this analysis, was that, a roundabout at that location would work. But obviously that would be a very costly project. So this is for us to be able to use federal funds on the analysis that we've already completed.
Thank you, Sandra. Any questions or comments from the council?
Yeah, this is Jean Walsh. I'm trying to understand, they did a study and then we need to do a study too?
No, this is paying for the study, Gene.
Oh, so they've already done it, we just have to pay for it?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
It's,
Any other-
This is Lissy Philip. Which exit number is this off Throwaway?
That's correct. It's on the southbound exit of the thruway, the intersection of Route 32 and the southbound exit of the thruway in Saugerties. It's exit 20.
Exit 20.
Is it 20?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
it's Vernon. Saugerties welcomes this, and we thank and congratulate the DOT on moving forward on it, and we're looking forward to a good resolution of this project in the time to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Vernon.
Thanks, Vernon.
Any other comments?
Hey, this is Lance. Sorry I joined a little late here, but I did get an update from our traffic group. I don't know if Sandra mentioned, but we're hoping to have the 3-color signal operational this fall. They are working on the PO and the implementation of the shorter term fix at this location.
Thank you, Lance. Anything else? Hearing none. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So carried. Thank you. Item C, UCTC Resolution 2021-03. It's the distribution of the federal fiscal year 2021 Federal Transit Section 5307, 5340 urbanized area apportionments attributable to the Kingston urbanized area. We have a motion for discussion purposes. Please state your name.
I'll make a motion. Bill McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. McKenna. Do I have a second?
Kristen, I'll second.
Thank you, Kristen. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Brian?
Yes, this apportionment is, again, as the resolution and description describes, it's for federal fiscal year 21, and it's dollars attributable to the Kingston urbanized area for transit operations. And eligible recipients include all public transit agency operators that operate within that urbanized area. And there is one, and that is Ulster County, operating Ulster County Area Transit. The amount of money available during this particular federal fiscal year is $1,039,578. So 100% of those funds can be given to Ulster County for the purposes of operations or capital.
Yeah, I would note that that's an increase from where it was. It was about the 900,000, 950,000 range last year. So it is a slight increase with respect to those
Right.
to those funds.
Those are formula funds based on a variety of factors, including
Ridership.
yeah, ridership.
Any other discussion? Comments? Hearing none. Any opposed? Any abstention? So carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, we're under other old business.
That's right.
That was quick. Project updates, Brian?
Before I get into project updates, there are no real significant updates since our technical committee meeting was held last month. But more importantly, I did want to provide an update to members regarding the UCTC call for bridge projects. Back just before the end of the year 2020, Ulster County Transportation Council created a call for projects for a relatively small amount of federal bridge funds. It was just under $2 million in off-system bridge funds. We made those funds available to our members, and we received 2 applications to utilize those funds. One was from the Ulster County Department of Public Works, and the other was from the town of Rochester. They're both good applications. We have not determined an awardee at this time, and that's still a subject of discussion. One issue that has been raised is the Ulster County DPW application and proposal was for more dollars than what is available on the UCTC tip. So that is going to require discussion. Otherwise, we're continuing to evaluate the merits of each proposal. Dennis, do you have anything else you
No, I know that both of these bridges are in need of repair, and both of them can access the money and utilize it in a timely manner. So we do know that that's the case. So it's not an issue with respect to implementation of the project. But I would also point out that, are there any comments on that? All right. I would also point out and ask Brian to talk about the Bridge New York program, which was announced, or perhaps Sandra or Lance would like to talk about the Bridge New York program.
I'll gladly defer to the New York State Department of Transportation.
Sandra,
Yeah, I would. I would just encourage everyone to go visit the website. It's very, all of the information is there. If anyone has any questions, the questions need to go through the Bridge New York email address. And there were some training opportunities that have already passed, but those have been recorded and posted to the website, so you can take a look at those too.
Thank you, Sandra. Any questions on the Bridge New York program? Any of the council members have interest in applying?
Yeah, Ed Pine with Ulster County. We're going to be putting in one bridge and one culvert.
Neil from New Paltz, we're thinking about putting a culvert application in.
Anyone else?
Our highway superintendent's working on it right now. We may have one or two projects going on. We'll have to wait to hear back from Richie.
Thanks, Fred. Anyone else? Okay. Good to know. Thank you. City's going to apply, right, Kristen? John?
Not that I know of, but John, are we applying?
I don't believe so.
It's problematic. There is no bin for that particular bridge.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Okay.
Wirt Street Bridge.
I'm sorry?
Wirt Street Bridge.
Yeah, that's a packet of an application.
I can give project updates briefly.
Project updates, Brian.
Sure, just a few planning project updates I'd like to give everyone. The Ulster and Delaware corridor study in the Shandaken area is very much underway. We have Barton & LaJudas is our engineering and planning contractor to assist us with that effort. Right now, the Technical Advisory Committee is reviewing the inventory of existing conditions, as well as draft recommendations for that corridor. So as soon as the Technical Advisory Committee signs off on that report, they just received it last week, we will make it publicly available and also begin to schedule a public meeting and a public input session to review that draft plan with members of the public. You may recall Ulster County Transportation Council hosted a public meeting earlier this month, first or second week in February, regarding the UCAT site selection and storage facility project. This is a planning study that we've undertaken with UCAT with the assistance of Pissarro Associates out of Rochester, New York, to analyze possible locations for a future expanded storage facility for UCAT's fleet. And there were two sites that we're looking at, one being Golden Hill and the other being Tech City. And the general recommendation in the final draft plan is that we focus on Golden Hill and properties adjacent to the existing facility if an expanded facility is constructed. So I would urge members, if you're curious about the results of that study, it is still open for public comment through Friday. All the materials, including a YouTube video of the public meeting, the draft report, and some other information is available on the project website. If you just go to the UCTC homepage, you can find it posted right at the top. So I definitely urge you to check that project out. The long-range transportation plan revision, which is essentially, it's a reformatting of the existing report, is very close to completion. I'm looking really forward to getting that out to members. We're just doing a few final internal revisions. If you've ever worked on reformatting a nearly 200-page report, the devil's definitely in the details. It's a line-by-line revision process. We're also updating all the graphics and making sure that it's fully ADA for the visually impaired. So that should be done within the next 4 to 6 weeks. David, you want to give a quick update on the crash analysis?
Sure, the crash analysis is ongoing. We've received limited comments on the top locations that we're planning on doing a more detailed analysis of. And we're going through doing a sample or analysis for the top location, the curve on 4455, to see if that's how we want to go, and then make some revisions potentially to that format and continue on to the remainder of the demo locations that we're looking at. So the project's ongoing and still looking for a closeout at the end of April.
And then, thank you, David. And then finally, our next project, we have a draft request for proposals. It's almost ready for publication.
It's actually out. The legal notice is out. It'll be published on Wednesday or Thursday in the contract reporter, New York State contract reporter.
Thank you. So that scope of work is conducting essentially a risk assessment of transportation facilities in Ulster County with regard to the subject of resiliency to natural and man-made disasters. So that is a project that we've been talking about getting underway for many years now. We're really happy to finally get that out of the gate. So we will hope to receive some good proposals from consultants, and after we receive proposals, we'll compile a selection committee to review proposals and also a technical advisory committee to guide project progress. That's a 14-month project.
So one of the things that you should know is that that RFP basically calls for a digital report rather than a written or a PDF. So we anticipate that this will be a map-heavy report, and so we're going to move to an all-digital format for that report, so that it will be a web-based report, which is a little bit different than what you've seen, but we've seen some other examples of this, and we think it will be successful. So that there's a little bit difference relative to the way that RFP is written. And we're looking for consulting firms that have some experience in terms of digital and web-based reports.
Question.
Yeah.
It's Vernon. Do you have a time frame, start to finish?
Well, I am anticipating, Vernon, that the project will take us approximately 14 months to complete. And so that would mean that 14 months from the date of contract execution. And contract execution in Ulster County can take us, after we have a selected proposal, it can take
sometime in June, I'm thinking.
Right.
Maybe we may make end of May, but I'm thinking it's probably sometime in June.
I anticipate the project cost will be in excess of $50,000, so we will need legislative approval for that expenditure as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and I know David is working on, for the city of Kingston, I know David started work on the rail safety RFP, and that will be the next one out the door, the rail safety RFP.
The only other item, while I have everyone's attention, we are scheduled to meet on March 23rd, the UCTC Technical Committee. I believe we will have at least one TIP amendment at that meeting, and also we may have some more FTA appropriation.
The one last item of other old business would be to ask the communities and council members to start thinking about your infrastructure needs, not only just transportation, but also other infrastructure needs. We would anticipate that this administration at the national level will be looking at infrastructure funding coming up, and we should be ready for that. So if you have any projects that you're thinking about that are infrastructure related, and now's a good time to start putting a list together we would appreciate it if you would share that list back with the planning department. You can email me. The county is also in the process of putting lists together with respect to needs. And these are typical lists. It's good to do them. Even if the funds aren't available, it's just good to take a look and see what out there. Systems, I know New Paltz needs work on its sewer lines, to dams for the city of Kingston, to water supply facilities, and let's not forget the transportation facilities as well. Any other old business?
This is Kristen. I have a question. Have you heard anything about federal funding supplying more funding for maintenance activities of infrastructure? Have you had gotten any information about that or heard anything about that?
Could you be more specific? I mean, clearly there's funding available for certain types of maintenance activities, replacement of sewer lines, water lines, those kinds of things. Do you have a specific maintenance thing you're thinking about, Kristen?
Yeah, I was more thinking about maintenance equipment for our DPW to be able to maintain some of the newer infrastructure that we're putting in the city of Kingston. So like, different kinds of snow plows to plow bike lanes or rail trails, or different kinds of equipment that might be needed to maintain the new infrastructure. And I was on a webinar yesterday about federal transportation funding, and I heard a little bit about that, but I just wanted to know if anybody else had heard anything more, because I know that's one of, at least for the city of Kingston, it's one of one of our challenges is that once we put in this new infrastructure, how do we maintain it with the equipment that we have?
Yeah, no, we haven't heard anything, but if we do, we'll let you know.
Okay. Thanks.
Anything else? Hearing nothing, can I have a motion to adjourn? Please state your name.
I'll make a motion for adjournment. Herb Litz.
Thank you, Mr. Litz. We appreciate it. Do we have a second?
Bill McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. McKenna. Any opposed? Didn't think so. So everybody stay safe. Hope spring gets here soon.
Yep. Please stay safe and be healthy. Take care.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.